Hello, and welcome to the Congresso GeoGebra Pernambuco. My name is Robert Pontecorvo, and I am the Assessment and Relations Lead for GeoGebra. I'm recording this message in New York, where I am located, and I wanted to start by sending my apologies for Markus Hohenwarter, because he was unable to make it to today's events. And he was very disappointed that he was not able to join all of you either live on video or in person, really, in beautiful Brazil. So Markus did ask me to send his regrets, to let you know that he appreciates everything that all of you do using GeoGebra. He hopes you continue to enjoy the use of GeoGebra throughout Brazil and all of the other countries that you represent here today. Well, for GeoGebra, I travel the country of the United States and create videos like this for people around the world, demonstrating some of the exciting things that are new and happening at GeoGebra. So I wanted to share one of the largest endeavors, creations that GeoGebra has worked on this year. And those are the GeoGebra Math grades 4 through 8 resources. Let me share my screen with you and show you what I'm talking about. Here is the GeoGebra homepage. You are very familiar with this homepage. As a matter of fact, some of you might be excited to know that this GeoGebra homepage will be updated to a brand new look before hopefully the end of December, before the Christmas holiday. And you will see an updated look, a more exciting look, and one that will hopefully be easier for people to navigate and also get assistance. But for now, on our current homepage, if you look right here, you will see the math resources. And here they are. They are math resources created specifically for grades 4 through 8. So, we're talking about maybe 8 or 9-year-olds to, 13-year-olds, I guess. And these resources are initially created in English with a focus on the United States. Now, what's very important for me to tell you is, like all of GeoGebra's work, they are very interested in all of the other countries and languages that use GeoGebra. So they are already working on the translations for these resources into languages like Spanish or Portuguese or German, Chinese, right? Most of you know already that GeoGebra is translated into over 60 languages from around the world. And the goal is to also make these resources translated into those languages. But for now, they are still only in English. But I think that's okay, because there are many of these resources that many of you might want to start using now. Let me show you how they are arranged, how they are set up, so that you can see how they can be useful to you in your classroom, even before they are translated into any other language other than English. The categories of the resources are cut into very basic general topics of algebra, geometry, measurement, number sense, operations, and probability. And what you will notice in each of those categories, there are two different types of resources. There are basically exploration resources and practice resources. You might ask, what is the difference? Well, in an exploration resource, there is no right or wrong. A child can't be disappointed doing an exploration resource because they can't make a mistake. The resource walks them through and teaches them the material as they go. It's very much a teaching and learning resource. In a practice resource, well, now there is a right or wrong. But remember, GeoGebra is very gentle and again is not so much designed to use for assessment, but for instruction. So even if a child does a practice resource and they make a mistake, GeoGebra gives them another chance. And if they make a second mistake, well, GeoGebra will give them a hint, right? If they make a third mistake, well, GeoGebra will show them the answer and an explanation of how to get that answer. And then they let the child try again, right? So again, it really is used to help teach a student how to learn the material, not so much assess and get a score for the child. Let's take a look at some resources in particular. I pulled some out ahead of time because I thought they would be of particular interest to you at this conference. This is a resource on geometry and solids. You'll notice off on the right, GeoGebra gives you a background of what it is. So it's created by the GeoGebra content team. It's about solids. It's an exploration resource, so there's no right or wrong, and it's designed for grades 6 through 8, right? And here it describes the skill. Let me make this larger so you can see exactly what's going on. Here, we can move the slider to explore cross sections, either vertically, right, parallel to the base, or parallel to the face, right, the faces, I should say, or even explore cross sections that come about from different cuts. And again, this is all done with the GeoGebra 3D calculator, so at any time you could move these around and explore the different cross sections. Now, this resource, again, you'll notice it's written in English, but really the English language there is not particularly important because it's very intuitive, right? These are resources that are created by the GeoGebra content team. So they are very clean. They are very easy to use. They are very understandable without even understanding the English. Now, below, there are some questions written in English that a student of another language might have difficulty to use, but they're not necessary to use. And what's important is that for you as a teacher, these GeoGebra created resources, like all of the other community created resources, can be copied and then assigned to a student, right? So you can copy it if I was signed in. Let me see, I'm not signed in now. Let me sign into my account. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. Let's see if I have an account listed on here. Here we go. So now I am logged into my account. So if I go into the math resources, I go to geometry. That one in particular was for grades 6 through 8. It was on solids. Here it is. It's just an exploration resource. And now you'll notice that I can copy this activity, save it to my profile, and I can also assign it to my students either through Google Classroom, or if you don't have Google Classroom, that's okay. You can assign it the normal way through GeoGebra Classroom. So these are all assignable, right? These buttons, by the way, what you might be accustomed to is like the assign button. The assign button normally appears up here on the top of the screen. Well, that assign button now with the new format of the website is replaced with buttons here to assign to GeoGebra Classroom or assign through Google Classroom. So there's an example of a resource, again, where it doesn't matter what language you speak and what language this is translated into. Hopefully, it is of significant value. Let me show you another. This is a very popular exercise, okay, helping a student learn how to solve two-step equations. Again, this is an instructional tool, right? So a student slides the sliders, and this is an explore. So once they get to the value 6, Notice the blocks turn green, telling the student, yeah, that's the right value. I have to add 3 to that side. Again, green. Now, you can go past that, but then it turns not green, right? But again, green. There we go. So I have 3. And then over here, I need 81. So I'm going to add a whole bunch. By the way, you'll notice GeoGebra explains that these are unequal. They are not the same, right? And the balance keeps moving up and down until I do hit 81 and I turn green. Now it tells me they are equal. And when that happens, this solve button also comes up. So this resource will show the student how to solve. Not just solve for the student, but show the student how to solve. So if I click solve, and now I work the slider, the animation explains that you have to subtract 3 from both sides. Look, I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. They are going away. In the equation, it says subtract 3 from both sides. Then it explains that I have to divide both sides by 6. Again, here, it is telling me mathematically, divide both sides by 6. And then when I move the slider, it takes the values on each side and divides them into groups of 6. If I continue with the slider, it shows me that only one cube on the left, x, is equal to 13 valued cubes on the right. So here, this is showing a student how to solve a 2-step equation where they can actually get instruction. And again, there are an unlimited number of problems, right? You can just keep on picking a new problem, go through the whole thing. Green, they're equal. It's balanced. I hit solve. And again, it will tell me how to solve that 2-step equation. And again, then another problem, right? So again, not yet in any language other than English, but still very understandable, right? For really anyone who's studying mathematics. Let's look at another. This is an exploration on multiplying fractions. So here I have 3/7 multiplied by 1/2. It says slide to explore, so I will slide. What this does is uses the area model and shows the overlapping areas to show a student, in order to multiply these two, you're going to end up getting 14 separate pieces. Here they are, 7 and 7, 14 separate pieces. And where they are multiplied, where they overlap, is here, this purple, and that is 3 of the 14 pieces. 3 of the 14 pieces, right? So very visual, right? The language there is completely unimportant. It doesn't matter. And again, you can click new fraction, right? I'm clicking again because that one had 1/2 again. We don't particularly want 1/2 twice. Here is 1/5 times 6/8. So I'm moving the slider, and that is 6/40. Right? 5 times 8 is those 40 pieces. And what overlaps is 6 of those 40 pieces. So again, another very valuable resource. The 3 resources that I showed so far are exploration resources, where I am exploring and learning. And honestly, those are the ones where the English language is less important. It's not important because the solutions or the work is very visual. The practice problems are a little bit more dependent on the language because they ask a question. And typically the question is asked in English, but I did find some. For example, this is a great little exercise. This would be in the US for a child who is in maybe 4th grade, so 8 or 9 years old, okay? And they have to locate the point 3,8. Now, even if a student doesn't speak English, right, I'm sure the teacher can direct the student to say, look, 3,8, that's a point. So watch how this works. This is a practice problem. First, I'll move the little crosshair and I'll get it wrong on purpose. Let me make a mistake. And I hit check. It says no treasure there. So let me try again. Let me move it. And let me not do 3, 8. Let me do 8, 3, right? 8, 3. I'm incorrect. This is not correct. I am doing this wrong. I put 8, 3. I want to show what happens. I hit check. It says no treasure there. Now the hint again is in English, so it's a little bit more complicated for someone who does not speak English. It says you switched the coordinates. Locate the X coordinate left, right first, then the Y coordinate up, down. So again, where the English, it's not really, easy for someone who's not English speaking. I wanted to show you these resources because these translations are in the works, right? These translations are beginning to happen. GeoGebra is working on getting these resources translated. They have people in the community that are already working on that. So these hints would be changed to many different languages, but it gives me the hint that I switch these coordinates. So now I have to try again. I will go to 3, 8, which I believe is there. And I've hit check. If I hit check, yes, I found the treasure. And then it keeps score for me, right? I have 1 right now. And then I could do another one, right? So it keeps track of how many I get correct. Again, being very gentle. If you get it wrong, here, I'll get it wrong on purpose. So I got it wrong. GeoGebra shows you where the solution is. It says the treasure is here. That is where 2, 5 is. 2, 5. And it doesn't add to my score. It doesn't count how many I got wrong. GeoGebra does not care how many you got wrong. They care how many you got right. So as a teacher, you might tell your students, look, do this exercise until you get 5 right or 10 right. When I taught, frankly, I don't care how many times the kid made a mistake. If they've got 5 or 10 of these right, I'm confident that they know what they're doing, right? And they are well on their way to doing better. So these resources that are available now on the GeoGebra webpage, although only in English right now, are on the roadmap to being translated. And I'm very excited for when they are translated because I believe that these can help students around the world. And as you know, that's GeoGebra's mission, right? To really make mathematics accessible to every child, no matter where they live or how much money they have or what language they speak. It doesn't matter. GeoGebra will continue to work on that mission. Markus is, of course, ensuring that. And you are also ensuring it, making sure that happens by having conferences like you are having today, right? GeoGebra would be nothing without their user community. It is the user community that has helped the GeoGebra software become popular around the world. And I thank you for that. And I know Markus thanks you for that. And that's why I want to welcome you all again and say, have a fantastic day at this conference. I've seen some of the names of the speakers that are going to be in front of you today, and I think you all will learn a lot and certainly enjoy yourselves. And I want to thank you all for having me here today. I want to wish you all a very happy and healthy holiday season. And hopefully, I will speak to you again soon in the near future. Perhaps even get the privilege to come to your conference live. Again, my name is Robert Pontecorvo. I want to thank you all for everything that you do, not for GeoGebra, but for what you do for the students in your schools. I was a teacher for 32 years. I'm very proud of that career, and I'm confident that you will be proud. And boy, if you're not, you should be proud of the work you're doing for your kids. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the conference.